I think we got thumbs up. We are live. Everybody can hear us out there in internet world. We are here today for our regularly scheduled Commissioners Court meeting. It is August 12th. Like I said, it is 9 o'clock. We do have a full quorum present. I know that's important for one of the agenda items today. So let's stand for our prayer and pledge, and we'll get started. We got thumbs up. We are live.
Lord, we come before you now. Lift our hands up to you in thanks and praise.
We are here today for our regularly scheduled Commissioners Court meeting. It is August 12th. Like I said, it is 9 o'clock. We have a full quorum present. I know that's important for one of the agenda items today. So let's stand for our prayer and pledge. We got thumbs up. We are live.
Lord, we come before you now. Lift our hands up to you in thanks and praise.
We are here today for our regularly scheduled Commissioners Court meeting.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item number 4, 5 is citizens to be heard. Do we have any citizens that are signed up to speak before Ms. Meow? Several. All right, who's first? All right, Howard, come on up. For those that don't know you, tell everybody who you are.
Good morning, Court. My name is Dr. Karnes. I'm superintendent of schools with Kennedy ISD.
Okay,
Item number 15 in favor of.
4, 5.
Thank you again for having me this morning and hearing this agenda item. Here as the superintendent, and I'm representing our students, our staff, parents, families, and our school board. I'm also here before you today as a citizen of Karnes County, as a dad with 3 kids at school, and a husband for a wife that works on school. So I think collectively we can all probably agree, just like you probably have kids or family members that are in school.
As citizens, school safety is a top priority probably for all of us. Secondly, I'd like to thank the Karnes County Sheriff's Department for initiating an SRO program. It is of my professional opinion that it is really good to have a competitive market for school security. I do not believe that a district should fall under the monopoly of one entity for school security services. And the fact that there's an open competitive market for school security allows districts to go find the best relationship that best suits and services their staff and their kids in their district. I will tell you that an MOU has been presented to our school board. That MOU was enthusiastically approved unanimously. We have completely read through the stipulations in that MOU, and we are also currently planning logistically and financially to fully fulfill what has been outlined in that MOU, pending the will of this court. So I'm here today to answer any questions when this agenda item comes up, in the event that you have any, and I will respond only when called upon. Thank you very much for your time and hearing us out, and thank you for all you do for Karnes County.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. All right, who's up next, Ms. Leal?
And the next one is Sean O'Brien.
Mr. O'Brien.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
First thing I'd like to do is thank y'all for the hard work you're doing. I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like to try to go over these budgets. It's no fun, and it's a big responsibility. The reason I'm here today to talk about item number 24, it has to do with amendments to the budget, and just that item alone tells you that this budget is nowhere near etched in stone at this point. We're still considering amendments and changes, and until you do have the final budget and you vote on it, it's not a done deal. The second reason I'm here also has to do with an amendment that I'd like to propose, that you take another look at the paving of the parking lot at the show barn. Now, I know you've done a lot of discussion about it. Back in March, I came to Commissioner's Court, and we had a proposal at that time to go ahead and get it paved. And I say paved in quotes because it's not your typical paving. It's like a seal coat process, just like our county roads. Very substantial project. At the time, it was about $225,000 to $250,000 to get the entire parking area at the show barn paved. At that time, there was a general consensus that this was a great idea. We're on video today. Notes are being taken. We're going to have minutes. It was the same thing that day. Now that day, the judge said, and I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth because it's on video, and you can go back and look at it. He's 100% for this project. There was a general consensus of the commissioners that we were 100% for this project. That day, the biggest reason it didn't get passed that day was because there was this lease agreement that looked too much like a lease contract. And I think everybody agreed with the judge. The judge said, look, I'm not entering into some kind of lease agreement with the show barn. And everybody agreed that he was right. He was definitely right to say that. The second reason why it didn't get passed that day is because the funds would have come out of our contingency funds, and he didn't like that idea either. It could have been done right then and there, but it didn't get done. So going back to my previous statement about how it's all on video, and I don't want to misquote anybody, you can go back and check it. He said, we will address this when we do the budget and we'll get this done. He looked at me and he looked at Commissioner Lissy and he said, let's wait until the budget time. We can put it in the budget then. And he said, he personally feels we should donate money to the show barn and let them do it themselves so that the county's not technically responsible for the project.
That's 3 minutes, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Who's up next, Ms. Leal?
Rose and Peter is Raskowski.
All right, Miss Rose and Peter Rakowitz.
Rakowitz. Good morning, everyone.
We're up, morning everybody. We're up here because we're trying to get the rates for the record companies adjusted and raised up. There hasn't been a rate increase since 2020. I am representing 181 Record Service. I got a letter from Bob Alexander with Alexander's Record Service and David with Cowboys Record Service. I don't know what else to say. I got letters if y'all want to see them now or if y'all want them later. We just need to get the rates adjusted. I know me and Mr. Bailey and the rest of us have been talking with Mr. Bailey about getting them adjusted. We came up with an agreement, but then somebody else is wanting to add a bunch of verbiage to it that's saying that has nothing to do with it. TDR has nothing to do with what's going on incident management. So that's something we need to figure out. That's yours.
I want a copy of the, from Bob Alexander.
After court, if the commissioners would like a copy, they're welcome to reach out to y'all.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And the last one is Tommy Shaw.
All right, Mr. Shakami.
Mr. Judge, I don't have my phone, so you got to tell me when.
Okay.
Good morning, guys, commissioners, gentlemen. I just want to let y'all know, and as I'm sure everybody stated, today's first day of school. I'm a bus driver there. I want to say I appreciate the sheriff's office, what they've done in the past, and I hope they're able to continue doing what they've done for us periodically when we have issues out there, people passing us on that bus with the reds out. They've helped out a lot last year, and looking forward to anything they can do this year. But I personally appreciate it because I've seen them actually pull people over for it. So that's one of the main things. The others, I want to tell the sheriff's office again, thank you for helping me keep my cows on my side of the fence. She was out this morning and I pinned her up again, and so work in progress. Last but not least, this deal with the SROs and all that. The only thing I understand about the only school in this county that doesn't have the sheriff's department behind it is Runge. I don't know anything. I've never met the people that run it. I don't know any of the constable. I don't know the constable. I've never met him, and you know how they're handling all that. But however they're handling it, I would think that the county is ultimately responsible financially should anything go out in left field or however you want to put it. It's my opinion that if you had one head person, department over all of it, I think it would be a better deal, in my opinion, because of the simple fact, the county's gonna be responsible, whoever's over it. It's just trying to get this, it's my impression that the school has to agree, that the school has to do something with it. But I've not heard one word about Runge coming into the fold. And that's just my concern for the financial end of it for the county. And that's all I got to say. But thank y'all, and y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Tom. Any others signed up to speak this morning, Ms. Leal? All right, let's move to item number 6 then. Discuss, approve, disapprove, closing, abandoning, and vacating portions of Adam Lorenz Bridge Road and County Road 381, AKA North 2nd Street, because said portions of said roads sought to be closed, abandoned, and vacated have not been used by anyone for an unknown period of time, at least in excess of 3 years. A copy of the notice of petition to close, abandon, and vacate portions of Adam Lorenz Bridge Road and County Road 381, AKA North 2nd Street, is attached hereunto. The authors are Mark Mika, sponsored by Benny Lissy, Commissioner Precinct 2. Commissioner Lissy.
Well, we voted on this last meeting, and we needed a full quorum to vote on it, we were told. And Commissioner Rosales was present. So I move that we approve item number 6 as presented.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, I think that we're good to go. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank y'all.
Item number 7, acknowledge updating Karnes County Sheriff's Office Record Service Agreement. Sheriff Bailey.
Morning, Court. This is to acknowledge and updating Karnes County Sheriff's Office Record Service Agreement with our records that are on call for us. This is to raise the maximum charges that can be billed or set a new cap for them. You can see the new 2025 attached rates added to the agreement were 3 words on page 1B1, keeping the vehicles within the county instead of when they're towed leaving the county, so that people that were arrested or was in a wreck could actually find their vehicle. And then the other change besides the rates were, there was a stipulation that all police cars were towed at 150 flat rate. I did add in there for all county vehicles to be towed at a flat rate of 150 for the entire county. Disclosure, the county attorney does not agree with the record agreement. She sent me an email stating such. But those were the changes that were made. Everything was shown to the record service owners. None of them liked the other agreement. They liked the old agreement that they had. They understood the changes that I made. They agreed to those changes. They thought they were sound changes. And with that, it's just an acknowledgement of what I'll be doing in the future, and just for full disclosure.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sheriff. That said, that's just an acknowledgement. So we'll move to item number 8, another acknowledgement, updated mutual assistance agreement between Karnes County Detention Facility and the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Bailey.
So this is just an updated MOU. We already had one, I'm sorry, this is a mutual assistance agreement that was updated. We already had it in place with GEO. This did go through the county attorney's office, and she did check everything and agrees with it. So I will be submitting this to the warden over there for his approval, and we will move on from there on the mutual assistance agreement.
Thank you, Sheriff. Item number 9 is another acknowledgement, updated MOU between Karnes Detention Facility and Sheriff's Departments for the purpose of providing a sexual assault/abuse hotline. Sheriff?
Again, this was already in place. However, it was severely outdated, and we ran it through the county attorney's office, and she helped us clean it up. And again, this is just advising the court of what we plan to do with the updated document. Once we get that to Warden Berry and get him to sign off, we'll also file that.
Question from the court?
No,
If none, we will move to item number 10. Thank you, Sheriff. Discuss, approve, disapprove bank depository extension agreement with Falls City National Bank from August 1, 2025 to July 31, 2027.
Good morning, everyone. Everybody should have a copy of the depository bid form in their packets. The only thing we probably really need to pay attention to is the time deposits, the CDs. It's at market or quoted rate on anything over 91 days. That was the best we could come up with the fluctuation in the rates.
Judge, may I?
Please.
But the only concern I have is there's an extra page in here that I think was supposed to be left out, and I just wanted to bring it to the attention. I think everyone was emailed about that.
Yes.
That we not approve it with this older sheet.
Correct.
That should be removed.
It's the newer one that was included.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Other than that, I'm okay with this agreement.
So the one that I'll give the bank is this with the current exhibit for the bank to sign and the judge to sign.
Thank you.
For clarification, it's page 45 that was the correct amendment, it's page 47.
Well, I don't have page numbers, so
Is
I
it the
don't get
one,
packets.
I'm sorry, is it the one that both have Exhibit A on them?
Yes,
So we eliminate the first Exhibit A, that's longer?
correct.
Okay.
Let me just verify and make sure which one.
Okay, I'm not going to put the wrong
one
exhibit in
with-
there. And I don't appreciate the fact that you think I'm trying to slide that in there.
The one with more paragraphs, do you want me to show you which one I'm talking about? Sorry. We're eliminating this one, this paragraph, and go with the second Exhibit A.
That makes sense, sir. This is the correct page. This is.
I'll make the motion to approve item number 10 with the change for taking out the page Exhibit A. What do you want me to say there, Judge? You want it with more paragraphs in it, or the first Exhibit A?
Since it is not a numbered page, in order of the presented item, the first Exhibit A.
I think the first Exhibit A.
Okay.
Eliminate that one, and stay with the second Exhibit A. I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Vida. Item number 11, discuss, approve, disapprove order of election for the November 4th, 2025 constitutional amendment election. Beth? Oh, Beth? Oh, yeah, she is going to be gone. Pretty self-explanatory. It's in your packet. She asked if I would present it for her. And this is for, obviously, the November 4th election that'll come up. That's this year's election. It's for the constitutional amendment that is in your packet. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 17. 17 amendments, and that's for the constitutional election. If you would like to see those, I'm happy to provide a copy after court to the public. Commissioners have.
I'll make a motion to approve the order of election for the November 4th, 2025 constitutional amendment election.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, discuss, approve, disapprove guaranteed maximum price GMP proposal from Construction Manager at Risk, CMAR, Weaver and Jacobs Constructors for EMS Admin and Training Center project and allow the county judge to enter into negotiations for the final contract proposal. Casey.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Morning.
So we had a successful bid day on July 31st. Weaver and Jacobs with the construction manager at risk. All the bids from the subcontractors and tradesmen were tabulated. We had a meeting with Weaver and Jacobs and RMA Architects last week, Wednesday, at our office to go through all of that in the guaranteed maximum price proposal, which you should have a one-page document in front of you. I'll go through it line by line here just to explain some talking points. So the training center admin building, inclusive of the EOC that we had a discussion about in the budget workshop, the cost of work, so all the bids that were submitted by the subcontractors, the physical building itself, total bid was $3,982,471. In addition to that, we have multiple allowances. So going through the top portion of that page there, so this is in addition to the cost of work. So these allowances are set aside of the construction budget to allow for contingencies that come up throughout the process, furnishing and fixtures and equipment, landscape and irrigation, electrical and HVAC commissioning, test and balance of the HVAC system, material testing. We'll talk about the sanitary sewer line potential reroute, which has been discussion already, and the 100% construction drawing approval that we had a couple weeks ago, or months ago rather. And then exam simulation, proctor camera, AV allowance, and then a public safety radio allowance. So the allowances themselves, $100,000 for owner contingency, $100,000 for construction contingency, $200,000 for furnishing fixtures and equipment allowance, $35,000 for landscaping and irrigation, $20,000 for electrical and HVAC commissioning, $10,000 for test and balance of HVAC systems, $50,000 for material testing, $55,468, which was a bid as an alternate for the potential reroute of the sanitary sewer line that the city of Kennedy has come transversing the property. Exam simulation proctor camera AV allowance is $10,500, and lastly, the public safety radio allowance of $18,000. So all the contingency allowances, as stated, total to a total dollar amount of $598,968. So when you add in the $3.982471 million for the cost of work plus the contingency allowances, that takes the subtotal to $4,581,439. In addition to that, we have the pre-construction services. So we had an AIA agreement executed by this court when we selected Weaver and Jacobs as the construction manager at risk, and in that AIA agreement and contract was the pre-construction services fee of $27,500. That dollar amount, though encumbered today, there's an open PO with Weaver and Jacobs for the pre-construction services. It is included into the guaranteed maximum price that the court is considering today to allow or to adopt. Additionally, indirect costs, general liability insurance, builder's risk insurance, and bonds total $476,457. And lastly, the construction manager fee, which again contractually in the AIA agreement that the court's already adopted, of the GMP that's agreed upon, if agreed upon, is 4.65%, which using the GMP proposed today is $235,192. So the original base guaranteed maximum price with all the dollar amounts listed before you is $5,320,588. In the bid package, there were alternates that were requested by construction manager at risk, Weaver and Jacobs, one of which was the sewer line potential relocation of that sanitary sewer line coming through the property. We agreed upon putting that as an allowance in the actual aforementioned allowances, that if it were becoming a conflict, primarily if there's a conflict on the vertical conflicts for the civil engineer's drawing for the drainage of our concrete parking area, that money is already allocated in an allowance, where we could potentially look at that and potentially look at a cost sharing agreement with the city of Kennedy if that were to become an issue. The additional alternates that are before you on the one-page summary were alternate 1, 2, and 3. The insulation alternate, there was no bid on that, so there's nothing to accept there. We did accept 2 additional alternates that were PEX water piping in lieu of standard copper piping. That was a $5,866 saving. And then the last alternate that was accepted was zip sheeting systems in lieu of the traditional systems in place. And this is primarily for the rock wainscot on the front side of the building and on the alpha side or the storefront side of the building, which was a $15,348 savings. There were additional alternates that were proposed, example being the acoustic partition between the two training rooms. That is a crucial component of the design as proposed, so we did not accept that one, as well as an alternate generator. And again, because of the critical systems involved in that system, or in that facility, proposed facility rather, we did not accept that one. So the two accepted alternates gave us savings $15,348 and $5,866, which in total took the total proposed guaranteed maximum price to $5,299,374. So the next steps, hypothetically, if the court were to accept and approve this guaranteed maximum price, the next step would be to allow the judge, if authorized, to enter negotiations with Weaver and Jacobs with the standard AIA agreement for the GMP, obviously vet through the county attorney's office to bring back to the court for a final approval of that document. And then an action item off of that contract, if approved, would be a notice to proceed 30 days past the contract date, and then we would commence work. The allowances, I want to be clear in that all the allowances stated above, which was the $598,968, if those dollars, construction dollars for contingencies, are not used, that money stays in the county. We are not billed for any allowance that was not utilized. So when you see the 5.2 or $5,299,374, that is theoretically if we use every penny of every allowance, over $500,000 of the allowances that are included there. Again, that's worst case scenario. The beauty of the guaranteed maximum price is anything over that is not a owner requested item, i.e. a change order, is on the burden of the contractor. That is a not to exceed amount for the project. And again, anything that is not utilized in that dollar amount is deferred back to the county. We just aren't billed for that cost of work, or that allowance rather. The cost of work is what it is, but the allowances themselves, we are not billed if we're not utilizing those dollars during construction. Happy to answer any questions. I'll pause for the court to provide any questions or feedback on the document or the numbers.
Commissioner Beatrick and myself were in that meeting with Casey and Weaver and Jacobs. Super informative, felt really good about their overall grasp of this project. They do, this is what they do. It was, in my opinion, it was a very, very good, informative meeting. I'm excited about it.
Is this a turnkey bid? In other words, this is parking lot, this is the striping on the parking lot, this is everything.
This is turnkey project. The only thing in addition to the GMP, so the GMP is agreed upon with Weaver and Jacobs. That is a turnkey project, not to exceed amount. Two things to keep in consideration is our architectural fees to finish out the construction documents phase, which we're already in right now, that are encumbered in today's budget. The only remaining dollar amount that we'll have to pay Raleigh and McCoy is the construction administration portion of that project, which is stipulated based upon the GMP for you today at $64,140.15, plus or minus some travel costs for the travel down to the site. And then any additional owner responsibility items, which the only ones to my knowledge as of today are the relocation of the two carports and the two Connex boxes that are currently on the property, which are owner responsibility for the demolition phase, which is currently going to use encumbered dollars for today's budget. And then the finalized accessibility inspection for the ADA auditor to come in and actually look at the final project. So to answer your question shortly, Commissioner, yes, the $5,299,374 is absolutely turnkey for the construction project. Concrete parking lot, striping, gates, fences, all the signage, all the graphics, the actual physical metal structure, everything. And again, only thing to consider is architectural fees, which I stated, and then any owner responsibility item, which again, to my knowledge, is only the accessibility inspection post completion of construction.
And this does include a generator, right?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, the electrical package was bid to be inclusive of a whole turnkey, 100% every light switch, every outlet, electrical backup generator, natural gas and fuel.
I'm okay with it. Thank you for your hard work.
Absolutely.
And I'll make the motion to approve item number 12 as presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Commissioner Lissy noted as opposed. Motion
Only
carries.
thing I think we need to do is, which I will put on the agenda next time, we need to hire, with all our building projects that we've got going, I feel like we need to hire a construction lawyer.
Oh, what, I'm sorry?
Construction lawyer,
A construction lawyer?
look at all the contracts and everything.
Just to be clear,
I talked it over with Ms. Tapia, and she agrees that it'd be a good idea to hire a construction lawyer. She's got her hands full with everything else.
understand.
Motion carries 4-1. Thank you, Casey, for all your hard work. Item number 13, discuss, approve, disapprove request by county clerk for a budget amendment to move $15,000 from GL 100-403-1050 Chief Deputy to GL 100-403-1040 Deputy Clerks.
Yes, good morning, court. Just to be clear, the budget that we currently have is budgeted for Carol as county clerk, me as chief deputy, and 3 deputy clerks. With Carol's retirement, me being appointed, I did not choose a deputy clerk. So I have 4 girls that are being paid out of just the deputy clerk GL code, the 1040. So this is just moving funds in order to pay my girls for the rest of the budget year.
Until you choose at that time to appoint a chief.
Right, which will be on the next budget year.
Yeah.
Make the motion to approve item number 13 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, discuss, approve, disapprove consignment agreement between Karnes County and Alamo Auctioneers and designate county judge as authorized signer. Commissioner Beatrick.
Thank you, Judge. This weekend, I was emailed by the county attorney. She did not feel that this contract sufficiently protected the county. So I'm going to ask that we table this agenda item until our next meeting. She's given me another contract, and I have sent that over to Alamo Auctioneers. But in the meantime, this gives all departments an extra week. If you have surplus items, please let us know. Let's get them surplus and let's put them in this auction.
Thank you, Commissioner. Item number 15, discuss, approve, disapprove Kennedy ISD Memorandum of Understanding for 2 school resource officers, SROs. Commissioner Beatrick, is this one okay?
So about a month back, Dr. Powers from Kennedy ISD reached out to me. They were no longer going to have Kennedy Police Department was no longer going to be providing an SRO for them. That was a decision made by the City Council of Kennedy. I talked it over with Mr. Powers. I said that we have an agreement with Falls City ISD, and that if he was open to utilizing that same agreement, that I would initiate the process to help get him talking with the Sheriff's Department. I did that. We had the Sheriff's Office meet with Dr. Powers. Everyone seems to be on the same page. This agreement was then taken to the school board meeting. They have approved it, and so it is now here for us to approve. This is the same exact agreement minus changing the names that we have with Falls City ISD.
It's also reflected in our budget. Ms. Tapia, do you have something to say?
Yeah,
Please come up to the mic.
I was just going to say, I did look at this weekend and approved it, and just to be clear, the last agenda item and this agenda item weren't sent to me beforehand. So the first time I saw it was Friday night, Saturday morning. So, but I did look at this and did approve this as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve item 15 as presented.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner, for your hard work on that. Sheriff, thank you for taking it on. I know it's adding a little bit to ours, but we'll get them taken care of. Item number 16, discuss, approve, disapprove, declare unused electronic equipment as surplus property and authorize its sale at public auction. Commissioner Beatrick.
So I reached out to all departments, and I've said it here in court, if you had something surplus, please let me know. We'll try to get it on this auction. IT department has a list here. We have printers, DVD players, battery backups, scanners, old computers. They say these items have material value, but they are surplus that we don't use. It's just extra items we have that are just taking up space. And so their opinion was that we should sell them at auction and recover those funds for the county.
I move we approve item 16 as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner. Item number 17, discuss, approve, disapprove, putting a Chevy 2013 white Silverado maintenance truck, VIN number 3GCPKSE76DG274654 to surplus to sell. Renee?
This is an old pickup truck that the sheriff was nice enough to give to us a while back. We put a lot of use to it and seen enough good days in it, and it's done. So, and he gave us another one this year that's replacing that. So we want to put that vehicle to surplus.
Awesome.
I move we approve item 17 as presented.
I will second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 18, discuss, approve, disapprove adoption of 2025 Karnes County Investment Policy and Strategies, Investment Committee, and appointment of investment officer.
Good morning, Court. This is a yearly item that we have to do. So there's no changes to the investment policy other than we did have one member drop off, which is Ms. Sweezy, and we replaced her with Denise Rodriguez. And our investment committee members are myself, the county attorney Jennifer Tapia, a citizen Eric Opiala, Denise Rodriguez, as I mentioned, Commissioner Lissy, and then we have our investment person from RBC Capital who did the bond for us, Dusty Trailer. So that is the only change. Then at that point, you also need to appoint someone to be an investment officer, and I don't mind doing it again.
Well, I'll move we approve item number 18 and appoint our county auditor as our investment officer.
A second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 19, discuss, approve, disapprove, declaring 7 center consoles from EMS units as surplus and authorize their sale at public auction. Commissioner Beatrick?
Thank you, Judge. Casey Abram, our chief EMS manager, he has 7 center consoles removed from vehicles. They had to be removed so that radio systems and lighting systems could be installed. They've just been sitting collecting dust. They have a material value, but we can't utilize them, so we would like to have these declared surplus so that we can sell them and regain those funds.
What kind of value do those hold? Is it
brand new? You'd probably be looking at several $1,000s. On the used market, a couple hundred.
Still.
I'll make a motion to approve agenda item 19 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? None? All right. Motion carries. Item number 20. Discuss, approve, disapprove, declaring 1 Speed Queen commercial dryer from EMS facility as surplus and authorize its sale at public auction. Commissioner Beatrick, busy.
It's just one more item that's kind of been sitting around collecting dust. This dryer is an electric dryer that was removed from service because it was taking a long time to dry their uniforms. EMS purchased a gas dryer to replace this electric dryer, and so we should just sell this item and recover its funds.
I move we approve item 20 as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Awesome. Item number 21, discuss, approve, disapprove, declaring 3 Motorola radios, miscellaneous wires, and antennas from the Sheriff's Office as surplus and authorize their sale at public auction. Commissioner Beatrick.
So I don't know exactly how long ago, but there were 3 Motorola repeaters that were removed from service, and they were just sitting in the base of the radio room right underneath the antenna tower. One day while I was there viewing some of the upgrades that were going on, they said, if you guys can help move that out of here and get it moved to surplus, we would appreciate it, because it was just in the room, people tripping over it. I was concerned about selling these items at auction because I did not want someone to be able to power them up and disrupt operations of our sheriff's office. So I put some effort in and found the programming software and cables to reprogram these. I have cleared out the old programming so that now if someone were to connect power to them, they would not be able to disrupt services for our sheriff's office. So I would like to move to approve declaring 3 Motorola radios, the miscellaneous wires and antennas from the sheriff's office as surplus, and authorize their sale at public auction.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner. Item number 22, discuss, approve, disapprove reinstating burn ban for Karnes County. Commissioner Lissy.
Hey, I want to talk about it. There was 2 grass fires between Fall City and Pope last week, and if the court so decides, we'll reinstate the burn ban.
Judge Mann?
Yes.
I've thought long and hard about burn bans after the last one was enacted, and then it rained right afterwards. And talking with other members of the community, and it feels like when we instate a burn ban, we're really only giving a rule that the law-abiding citizens follow. There are people out there that are going to burn regardless, and I think there's an amount of personal responsibility that we all need to have. I don't want big government telling me what to do in my life, and I think I don't have a whole lot of control over it. But when it trickles down to this level, I at least have one vote and a say in it. I think we should all exercise personal responsibility. We all know if it's unsafe to burn or not, and I don't want to instate a burn ban, it rain in 2 days, and then someone not be able to take care of a trash pile that really needs to go. So I am not in favor of enforcing a burn ban.
Commissioner, did you speak with Charlie?
I had to call into him, they were called out on a fire. I had a call to Charlie, and they were on a fire. There was I think a light pole that caught on fire a while ago, and I hadn't heard from him.
I don't mind reinstating it, but usually when I vote to reinstate it, we always talk to Charlie, just to make sure, because he's the fire chief, and kind of from Karnes City, but it's the one I've always been around, and that's the one that I always like talk with, but I wasn't sure if you had talked with him or not. So at this present moment, I probably wouldn't be for the burn ban until we speak with Charlie.
I know there's quite a few fires that have been happening over in my precinct. There was one last week behind my house, honestly. And while I think it is hot and things are burning up, there's a lot of hay on the ground. I would like to push it off at least 2 more weeks before we reinstate it.
Any other discussion from the court? Hearing no motion, item number 22 dies for lack of. Item number 23, discuss, approve, disapprove the fees for an infrared survey and visual survey area of Plenum and Gaps to provide a proposal for alert and Karnes County. Commissioner Lissy.
I contacted Michelle last week. I didn't sign this. I wanted to get some more information on it. I wanted to table it till next week, so I don't know what you want to do now.
Judge Mann?
Yes.
The fact that it's on the agenda, I'd like to discuss it. At least we have a representative from A-Alert here. We don't necessarily have to take action, but I would like to state that I was on a conference call with Renee and A-Alert a few weeks back. They had completed an inspection of the roof and decided that the roof was not the issue and that there was something else going on, that they felt it was necessary to hire an engineer to investigate the process and see what was going on. And they told us over the phone that they were going to cover that cost at no, there's going to be no cost to the county for them to decide, because they seemed remorseful that they said this would fix our problem and it has not fixed the problem. So the fact that now I'm seeing where there may be a possible fee for that, I am concerned.
I agree with the Commissioner. David, I don't think there should be any cost to the county. Well, I have a concern there too.
Since the man is here.
Let's see. Judge, I apologize. I don't know your name, sir, but can we ask this gentleman to tell us
Yes.
what Taylor has to say?
Yes, Kurt.
Good morning, Court.
Morning.
Good morning.
Judge, Commissioners. My name is Kurt Klein. I'm with A-Alert Roof Systems. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Well, my mother says I don't enunciate, so it's Kurt with a T.
Okay.
So Kurt, what is y'all's plan?
So when we inspected the roof, we did an infrared during the daytime to see where the heat ingress was coming from. And what I saw from that, and I'm just a dumb VP, I don't do any of that. I'm not an engineer. What that showed me was that there is heat coming in. We immediately had, I would say within the next week or so, we had two of our project managers that between them have about 50 years or more of experience putting our roofs on. And when they examined the roof, they found that not only was there nothing missing on the roof underneath it, because it was a roof over, our roof had been installed per specification and in accordance with the contract. So we reached out to Terracon for their forensic engineering side of things. And the nice thing about Terracon is the county's already done work with them back when the building was built, I think in 2011, is that correct? 2012, somewhere in there. Terracon provided a geotechnical report that said that in order to mitigate the humidity factor based off the drainage of the high side or the hillside structure, I think it was a 3-foot clay cap needed to be installed to mitigate the humidity coming up out of the ground. So that leads me to believe that it's not the roof. It's a humidity factor. And in talking with the judge and Renee, the first time it came out, they said that this has been going on since the building was built, which obviously there's a problem. But the roof is not contributing to the problem. It was installed properly, it was installed according to the contract. And leveraging a relationship with Terracon, our president knows those folks over there. He's been in the business quite a long time, and they think they asked if the clay cap had been completed. I talked to Renee, I believe it was yesterday, and he said not to his knowledge. And then they further suggested what could be wrong. And I think it has something to do with the HVAC and the airflow in that building.
So forgive me, everyone, but I came into this a little later than everyone else. But so I was asking questions, and before we put the roof on, I had heard that it is possibly a condensation problem inside the building. And so when it was proposed to put a $200,000+ roof on this building, I started asking questions, and I sat here in court and I asked your representatives, I said, I have been told this is a condensation problem, and he said, no, it's not a condensation problem, it's a water migration problem. And I said, so you're saying we've got a water leak that we haven't found, and your new roof is going to fix my problem? He said, yes, I guarantee you a watertight seal. That hasn't happened. And I understand the roof may not be the problem, but we leaned on y'all's expertise to tell us that this roof would fix the problem. When did this laser survey, infrared survey get performed? Was it before the roof was proposed to us or after it didn't fix the problem?
No, I came in and brought that myself.
So it was after the roof was put on?
Yes, sir.
I went back and watched the video just so I could refresh my mind on it. I'm told that y'all have an in-house engineer who helps with planning these things out, so.
We have a structural engineer, yes, sir.
I honestly don't want to give y'all any more money, and I'm concerned about.
But so far, the contract hasn't been paid at all.
I acknowledge that, so.
If there's a solution, I'm open to the discussion.
The item as presented under Commissioner Lissy is the fees for an infrared survey and visual survey area of plenum and gaps to provide a proposal for alert and Karnes County. It's not necessarily addressing the balance or.
Yes, sir, I apologize.
And I didn't mean to bring it up that far. I apologize myself. Again, I am not in favor of paying any additional fees because I was made to believe that A-Alert was going to take care of those fees so they could tell us exactly what was going on.
I agree, 100% agree.
Is there a motion for approval or disapproval? Is that what we're going to do?
I'll move to disapprove the fees for a limited survey and visual survey area of plenum and gaps to provide a proposal for A-Alert in Karnes County.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed to that? Motion carries. Item number 23 is disapproved. We'll continue
Thank you.
conversation with
Thank you very much.
Item number 24, discuss, approve, disapprove amendment to the proposed fiscal budget year 2025-2026 discussed in budget workshop held 8/5/25. Y'all should have all of those. Tom is here. Michelle stayed late and we sent.
Yes, Judge. So the first sheet I gave y'all is where everything we discussed. I met with Commissioner Beatrick Wednesday morning, compared our notes. So we talked about adding the 2 resource officers of 159, 173.12. The IT tech was 56,815.36. The grant administrator 68,675.36, and we were reducing the clerk in JP2's office so down to 20 hours, which is 12,238.83. So the total employee burden is 272,425.01. We're initially funding 500, which is our capital outlay fund, a one-time hit. Then we also talked about the sheriff's office OT budget for dispatch of 26,235, for law enforcement 76,692, and the criminal justice center for the jailers 107,427.88. Other items discussed that we wrote down, I have on the bottom of my list. The grant administrator department was established, I mentioned above. Donations to Karnes County Youth Show Barn was $50,000. Non-departmental is outside billing services. We raised to $120,000. Billing maintenance, vehicle maintenance and repairs we reduced to $3,500. Sheriff's Department vehicle equipment increased to $246,919.05. The IT training budget increased to $1,500. Road and Bridge, we added an OT emergency response line for $10,000. We reduced the fuel to $250,000. The local capital projects maintenance, $3,149,500 was moved to Road and Bridge Special Fund 201. Building repairs and maintenance budget of $20,000 was added, and the capital outlay increased to $25,000. Under his Road and Bridge Special, emergency response added $500,000 in that line item from the court order one. It had no effect on the bottom line. It was just moving it from one GL to the other. DPS contribution in Wilson County, the shared portion increased to $24,641.58. This is one of the items that we don't have control like the appraisal district. We contribute based on the numbers that are provided unless we determine not to fund that item. We eliminated the telephone line item under County Attorney and Road and Bridge. We renamed the Comal County Senior Citizens to Celrico. I understand that might still change again.
I think it's Karnes Senior Meal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we got till Friday, Judge.
Because Celrico is a for-profit, and so we can't do it that way.
Gotcha,
So if we do it to the Karnes County Senior Meals.
And I get with Michelle to
Yes.
make that change before we give it to the county clerk by Friday. And then we renamed the JP 2-4 office facilities to Precinct 2-4 service centers. And then as far as the monies coming out of the general fund for upcoming budget, the language access fund, that's for interpreters. We always funded that out of general fund, but we're getting little court fees now, so we're gonna need an extra $3,550 over and above what the courts charge. Road and Bridge, we talked about $11,300,000 coming from the general fund to them. Capital outlay, that's the new program we talked about, is $18,125,66. And then the Victim Services Coordinator their budget is $101,392.36. Then on the next page, Judge, so we went over all this, like I said, with Commissioner Beatrick, and then on Wednesday, Judge sent me an email that we wanted to add a training captain, which I have on the next page as well, and then...
That was just for the courts. That was presented to me in Casey's presentation back in April for his budget, and it's at the top of, and I didn't bring my big budget book, but it was at the very top of my notes. So whether Tom or myself, I'm not perfect. I hadn't walked on water yet, and the only man that I know that was perfect, it did work out well for him, but we see what happens to.
Right, and then the Sheriff's Department asked for a copy of their two budgets, so we sent that to them, and I got an email at 4:43 on 8/7 that they needed to make some changes. So one was to add a dispatch administrator. We reduced the dispatch position. I was told there was a vacancy, but there was not. So that's the total for the 3 payroll changes, adding the 2 and reducing the 1. The other items, I believe some of these were talked about in the workshop. We just didn't have written down. The VSO conference expense item, we wanted to increase to $2,000. The health reimbursement account, Elaine had sent an email to Judge's office to increase that to $65,000. That was discussed. The judicial is a juvenile funding portion. We're having another juvenile meeting on Thursday to determine the budget for the juvenile department. And that's, once again, like the DPS funding, we don't have control over what amount we fund, and we're just trying to true up the salaries on that. As far as conferences and training for the Sheriff's Department, those are just flip-flop. The Criminal Justice Center, it's not an increase overall in budget, it's just moving monies around. They wanted to add 2 more vehicles. That's why it says vehicles to add, and then also equipment for 2 more vehicles. And I believe that's for the
SROs.
Yes, sir. And the DPS shared funding we just talked about. We talked about renaming the Karnes County.
Senior.
Senior.
Karnes County.
And then the grants department, we established a budget based on HR's budget, and those are for conferences and so on and so forth. It's $10,565. One thing I do want to point out, the court, because I'm looking at the MOU for Fall City, whenever we purchase vehicles, we have to get their school board approval prior to us issuing a PO.
And the schools, they are going to reimburse 75% of that.
Correct. I just want to make sure we do that. The board approves it before we order, so we get our reimbursement back.
Dr. Bowers left already, so Commissioner, will you reach out to him on that, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Gadd.
And then one other item, Judge, that came up, Commissioner Giesel brought up last week as well, on the STEP program difference. So the amounts I was given from talking to the Treasurer's office has to do with people not getting the next step. So it was like an $8 difference on some of these items, and I can true up the numbers if I'm providing new updated numbers, if that's what we want to do. We want to be fair to everyone as well.
Yes, we don't need to short any of our employees the $8-9.
Right.
And it seems to be pretty even across the board on those that are short.
Yes.
It's about that $8 or $9, and so however we need to fix that, let's get that
I work
fixed.
with I.
Nobody's hourly rate change, it has to do with rounding.
Rounding.
You should know that. Tyler rounds it to 5 or 6 digits, we round it to 2 or 3 digits.
Okay.
Nobody's hourly rate change.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's an easy fix. Once I think it was like 20 people total.
That's my chief of staff's little lotto
Right.
staff, right? She needs that $9.
And speaking of that, so on changes to the budget, so I was understood that the judge would be the one that asked me to make changes. He said if it's coming from his office, that's authority to make changes to the budget.
Michelle and I sit and do this together, all of this. So whenever, that's part of her job is to send that email on behalf of me. And that's why we are on the same page, yes.
And I did print out new worksheets for y'all for the Fund 200, 201, 225, that's all road and bridge, and the 500 capital outlay. I did not print out the 100 yet, the general fund, because I wanted all these items to be incorporated, whatever else needs to be incorporated. So we need to get it to Jamie by Friday, and my goal is Thursday before we leave.
Yes.
And make these other changes. If there's any other changes y'all have that y'all want to discuss.
If I can ask real quick, on the sheriff's office vehicles, when they refund that 75% from the school
Yeah, I need to
district,
put the revenue.
where does that go?
Portion in our budget as well, so that's going to offset.
But where does that go? Where
Back
does that
to
money
general?
go back?
General fund, under revenues.
I got something, Tom. I did a little research when I spoke to 4 county judges, and they do not have a dedicated grant writer position. And they do contractual where they get paid a commission. That way the county saves money on salary and benefits. And they said if you got a dedicated one, their experience has been that they become complacent. If you hire one, contract one, that they get out and hustle because they get the grants, paid by the grants they get. And you don't have to pay the wages and you don't have to pay the benefits. And they said it would save the county a lot of money by not having a dedicated grant. So,
Which county judges were those that you talked to?
County Judge Teal, Whitman, and Lissy.
Cood,
So,
Whitman, and who? Which was the last one?
Teal and Lissy.
Lissy?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Judge Lissy? I don't
I
know.
think it's in, I think down Rockport or Port Range.
Oh, Vernon.
Vernon.
Yeah.
And so, I'd like to recommend that we remove the grant writer's position from the budget.
I was just trying to save the county money. You know, but that's up to the court, you know, that's trying to save the county some money. You know, you get a $1 million grant, you pay a grant writer 6% of that.
They also said that a lot of the grants now, the grant pays the 6%.
Best way, since we've already went through this before, just to see how everybody feels, I feel we leave it in.
So, just if I can, on the grant deal, Judge, you know, and that was kind of something you suggested, what happens to if the grant, if it does pay the grant writer? What is, that money comes back to the county, or does that go directly to?
That would come back to the county, yes.
Okay, so that wouldn't go above and beyond to the grant writer? On top of
No,
the salary?
like a bow on top of their salary? No.
Okay.
No.
I'm just making sure now.
Commissioner Manor, the only thing I know when I was in Guadalupe County, one thing you can't do is supplant. Supplant means you can't budget to pay for something and then use it out of grant funds. So we would not be able to.
Absolutely.
Right.
And does that money go back into like just the general fund? Or is that just like income, or is that specifically for?
It's specifically identified for that grant. Just like I'll use the home grant, you know, that's not money outside of, you know, the insurance that's paid for a year that just is, we're kind of the pass-through on that, but no, that's theirs.
And then, do you all know, so like going back to the, let's say there's $1 million grant and they give a percentage back or to the grant writer. And this is something I don't know, so I'm generally asking. If we have a grant writer, will that pay back to the county?
Well, that would just be the savings that we're, instead of paying
a grant administrator, a company like a GrantWorks or Langford or Trailer or whichever ones are out there, we wouldn't be paying them for their services. We would have hopefully a homegrown local employee from Karnes County.
The grant writers don't get paid unless they get the grant.
Right.
That is correct, yes, sir.
Right.
So if we hire one, it's gonna get paid whether they get any grant or not. We're gonna have to pay benefits, salary, retirement, medical.
But if they're awarded, the county's awarded one grant and they get a percentage of that grant, that money comes back to the county. Is that like real dollars, or is that just a percentage off the grant that is still there for the grant?
We could charge it to the grant, but we just gotta make sure we don't budget to pay that person as well. Can't
No,
double
I got you, but would that be income for the county at that point?
I don't.
Yes, yeah.
Would it be?
Yes, sir, it'd be reimbursable to the county.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
That makes sense.
that's what I'm asking.
Right.
Okay.
Right, that's my understanding.
Okay.
I didn't reach out to any other judges to ask their opinion, but I felt like having a grant administrator would be good for the county. We'd have someone who could go out there and look for those grants for us, also help us to manage everything that needs to be done. There's a lot of paperwork that goes through that, and we don't want to have to send any money back if we don't have to. Having somebody that's their dedicated job is to manage all that just seemed like a great idea for Karnes County.
And while it does seem like a great idea, I do have concerns, like what Commissioner Listen said. What's our contingency or fallback if it does get stagnant? If there's not a lot of grants being received?
We're an at-will company. You know, if you're not doing your job, then then that person needs to go, and then potentially the position needs to go. I mean, I feel like we're bloated in some other areas, and Commissioner Rosales and I have had a long talk about, the potential of, when things go south, there's going to be some hard decisions that are going to have to be made in some departments to scale down. And
Of course, y'all could put performance measures on that position where let the person, give reports.
That can all be
every
done
month
later,
or
right? If we,
Sure.
That's okay. I mean, I would support it then.
anything else?
Judge, I just want on the capital outlays, remember this was a one-time funding, and the money stays in there if we don't spend it all, so I would just go through all the different items that makes up the 18,125,66. So the annex, we have annex repairs, $2 million. The archives building is $400,000, and this is in y'all's packet. Audio upgrades, $50,000. The CAD system for the SO is $376,170. EMS unit, $399,000. Gillette EMS station, $2 million. Jail facility equipment, $495,396. Runge EMS station is $2 million. Jail facility improvements, $500,000. Security upgrades, $500,000. Furniture for precinct 2 building is $50,000. Precinct 2 service center is $2 million, and precinct 4 service center is $2 million. The EMS training facility is $5,350,000.
Tom, I may have missed it, but you did say the EMS for precinct 4, EMS station?
The service center.
Well, not the service center, the actual station.
Yes, the service centers is what, for the JP2 and 4?
Well, the service center is different than the
Yeah, they're in
station.
there. I'm
just making sure you said that, I didn't hear it.
Sir?
The service, wait. The service center is different than the EMS is there additional EMS for?
So there's a Runge EMS facility that was put in, we talked about last time, and then there's a service center.
Right.
How much was, I'm sorry?
They were $2 million each.
So $4 million for Runge specific?
Correct.
Correct.
It's in here, Judge.
Okay.
It's 5710 Runge EMS station.
Okay.
Yes, you're right, Judge.
Judge, I had another question. it might have the answers come from the sheriff's office, if you guys don't mind, but it was related to cop sync, and I know you and I talked about that previously. In the budget, we had nothing on the constables for cop sync, but then when I was going through the bills this weekend, I found two of the constables were getting $1,200 bills for cop sync. And I was talking with Constable Precinct 1, and he said that's something he needs every year, but they are going to be switching to a different program, and I don't remember the name of the program. They just don't know when. So I didn't know if that's going to be funds we need. He also did not believe that the sheriff's office's subscription to CopSync would cover the constables, because in our conversation, we thought that it was possible that the SR...
Right, I thought that maybe with the sheriff's office that they carried like a blanket license that we could include the constables in and then save that money from paying the constables, because I know that there was prior administration, there was some concern there, and so that's why we were budgeting for the constables specific to have their own CopSync. Now that that's been rectified, I was wondering if we could save that money by just adding the constables into the CopSync license that the sheriff's office holds. Is there a number of, like, you know, like we pay for a certain number of email addresses, or we pay a certain number of licenses for Tyler and Odyssey? Is that something that we can do?
Yeah, we'll just have to get more licenses for, I think right now we're low anyways with the amount of deputies we have.
And what is the cost of that?
I have to get a number for y'all.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Is it less than $1,200 per one?
I can't tell you if it is.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Well, what was it said about the sheriff's department was going to change from CompSync to something else?
Oh yeah, the new CAD system, but that's a build time. If it's approved, goes in effect October 1st, they start building it, you're still looking at an 18 to 24 month before it fully goes into service because of the scale of it. So we would still be on CopSync for the next year.
Why are you changing?
So I'm glad you brought this up. I've been waiting to talk about this CAD system. So this CAD system is...
Wait, before we start diving
Okay.
into this, we need to do our budget. This
Okay.
isn't time to talk about CAD system and changing. If we're not changing that right now, what Commissioner Beatrick is talking about is the CopSync. Do we need to continue to fund the constables with the CopSync? We can talk. I don't want to get down a rabbit hole that we don't need to be down.
Yes, and Judge, for in the future, when you want everybody to integrate, of course, we'll
Yes.
glad to have them on board.
Yeah, but that being said, we may need to continue to budget for those two constables, or all four constables for the CopSync. Is that what you're saying, Commissioner Beatrick?
Yes, sir, because I didn't feel right about bringing out a contingency because I'm thinking about it, so it's not something...
So add 1,200 for each of them.
Each constable, let's budget the 1,200
Yes, sir.
for the CopSync.
Yes, sir, that's easy to do.
Yes. Court, okay with that?
Any other changes?
Wasn't too bad. I think we addressed everything in
Yes,
red,
sir.
Tom, and
Yes, sir.
from our email from.
And Judge, I did have a couple departments reach out requesting copies of their budget before the workshop.
Absolutely.
So if y'all can do, I guess when we get the binders ready for y'all, for the commissioners, y'all can probably send them out at the same time.
Absolutely, for sure.
Judge, I do have something to say.
Yes, sir.
It was about what Sean O'Brien said,
Mm-hmm.
about 50,000 as against the 226,000. When it originally came up, I did think it was a really good idea, and I thought maybe we can take care of it. I did kind of bump my head on the walls a few times about the amount of money and all that. I'm gonna let y'all know my concern about it. I'll make it brief, Judge. And what happened was, I think one of the main things that came up was who's gonna maintain it afterwards. The problem was if we go over there and we set some kind of pavement, but it wasn't gonna be a full-blown pavement, it was just gonna be a one course. And I got with our engineer and we went through it, and me personally, I didn't like the amount of work that was gonna be put in the foundation and then do a one course on there. I didn't think that it was gonna last a long time for $220-something thousand for the county to spend. Yes, we agreed at it at first, but I looked into it a little bit more, and I'm sorry I didn't present it to the court that I was looking into it. But the more I looked into it, I really think it would take a lot more than $226,000 to do a good parking lot pavement on there that's gonna last. Only my opinion, from my experience, we go in with $226,000 and we do a one course, I think turning, spinning and all there, it's just gonna ruin that one course because it's just a one course and everything's not gonna be done as we're doing a highway. So when I do parking lots and stuff like that, I really take my time. I do vibrating on there. I do a lot of work on it. This one was gonna be to help them out, but in the long run, the more I looked at it, I think it was gonna be a lost money for the county. This is my opinion on that, and that's the reason that I personally went to the 50,000. I did do a lot of research on there. I just didn't believe that 226,000 would be enough to do a professional job. I mean, it's gonna be a professional, I'm not saying the county's not professional, we're professional, but I don't like it being that it's a one-course application. Maybe I did present it in the court the other time, maybe everybody gets out there, maybe they can do the legwork and go out there and ask everybody, since everybody uses it, and we'll be I would be happy to fund more percentage of it, since every entity uses it, and maybe we can get something, a two-course on there, maybe a little bit more, but it's gonna be something that's gonna last in the long run.
Again, that's the reason that, and forgive me for not having the video from whatever date that was. I will go back and look at it. I don't believe that I ever stated a dollar amount. Maybe I did, but was 100% not in favor of the county entering into an agreement. And just for the public's knowledge, it's not that I get that in my head. I have a ton of taxpayers that reach out to me that say it is ridiculous to spend X amount of dollars on X project, whether it's a donation to the Karnes County Youth Show, or it was Escondido Creek Parkway, or anything. I get tons of phone calls, folks. It's not Wade Hedke, it's not Judge getting up here and saying, that's too much money. It's the feedback that I get back from the taxpayers, and whenever I get the majority of the people calling me and saying it's ridiculous for you, and those are my bosses. Those people are my boss, and whenever they're telling me we do not want you, we don't want you to support that, and a lot of them don't think that we should do anything. I am in favor of doing something to help them out. I have talked to a bunch of the show board members. It is not a 100% across the board with the actual show board. There are some concerns, and to paint this picture that it's the mean old judge and he just doesn't want to do that. There are tons of concerns. How about a thank you from to the county for, man, we appreciate y'all giving us $50,000. That's awesome. That's going to go a long way to helping us with fundraisers on these other things. We're reaching out to go to each one of the municipalities, go to the city of Kennedy, go to but I'm not going to be the fundraiser for the Karnes County Youth Show. That's not my job. It's not our job as the court, and it's not our job as a court to pave and maintain a parking lot that whenever they have one show a year that the Karnes County Youth Show does. Now they may contract out with other shows to have prospect shows come in. I don't know. Apparently Commissioner Lissy spends a lot of time with the show board. Maybe, I don't know if they're paid for those prospect shows. I know that whenever I was with the Rotary Club and we were with Lonesome Dove, there was a contract, and when you signed that contract, you had to pay, and you had to pay for removal of pins, setting up pins, and so that's a for-profit for the Karnes County Youth Show that has one show a year. And whenever we have one show a year, and if they contract out to have other shows a year, there are skid steers out there that we all know most of us know what skid steers do to concrete. I know that Commissioner Rosales, he's got skid steer, I've got a skid steer. I'm sorry, not concrete, but to asphalt, since everybody's focusing on Judge Hepke's words. We know what skid steers do to asphalt, and then the court the county's got to maintain that. I am, again, I am 100%, as Commissioner Rosales, Commissioner Beatrix said in the workshop, $50,000, that's pretty good.
Well, the $220,000 wasn't for the county doing the work. It was for the show board, a donation to them. They would be responsible for it, and they would contract it out to be done. And the county would have no liability with maintenance or anything.
Court, I felt like we were being generous from when I offered the $50,000. I haven't had anyone from the show board reach out to me since the initial conversation. I thought they would, but nobody has.
Yep.
The budget will be given to the county clerk's office Thursday at the earliest, at the end of the day, or Friday, and she will upload it to so the public has it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let Sean O'Brien know why mentally why I changed. And there was reasons why I looked into it and everything. That's the only reason.
Is court okay with all the changes and the amendments that we've presented that Tom and I and Michelle have discussed as a court going forward, so we can get this thing?
I have one more, Judge. On the training captain for the EMS.
Yes, sir.
Is that something, Casey, and that you're ready for now? Or can you give us a little insight as far
Sure.
as?
So it's the next needed position for our department as discussed in the budget workshop as we get ready to start the construction project of our new facility. Short answer, I don't have an office for that person today. I mean, I could put them in a conference room with Dr. Azai, who also doesn't have an office, but I'm not going to do that to that individual. So the request is to put the money in the budget to hopefully mid-year start to advertise and start to recruit for that position with the anticipation of finishing 12 months from the time we do a notice of proceed of this project that GMP was approved on. To occupy that office once complete.
Okay.
Which in a perfect scenario would be at the latter part of fiscal year 26.
The latter part of 2026 is what you said?
This upcoming fiscal year, yes, sir. Fiscal year 26.
So you're thinking the building will be finished?
Sure. So the time frame in the contract that's going to be proposed to the court is going to be 12 months. From the notice to proceed, the contractor will have to have substantial completion in occupying a building to be occupied 12 months. That's what the contract is going to say. And the AIA agreement that the court previously agreed upon and executed with Weaver and Jacobs, that's a 12-month project. Again, the AIA agreement that will be proposed based upon the GMP that was provided, it's 12 months from the start that the notice to proceed is issued. So
this
we will have a building to move into next fiscal year.
This will be needed in 2026
in my
this next
professional
budget year?
opinion, yes, sir.
Now, one other question, Casey. I know you do a fabulous job, but $107,000 for a training captain.
Yes, sir.
Where did those numbers come from?
So that is a turnkey for that, including the fringe and benefits. So the
Yes.
salary proposed is 82,000 and some change. Let me give you the exact dollar amount.
This is fringe and all, right?
Yes, sir. The 107 is total fringe inclusive. So it'll be a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 position, $82,522.70, which is based on a 33.41 hourly rate. Again, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. By the time you add retirement insurance, FICA, Medicare, Social Security, that's what takes you to that dollar amount for you today.
No, I don't know a lot about EMS. Y'all are the ones that save my butt all the time. But I do gotta ask, what is the training captain? What is his credentials? What is he gonna have? Why is he getting paid $82,000? What
Correct.
kind of training is he gonna have to train? Like, what is it?
Correct. So they'll have oversight to all the clinical aspects of our organization. So they'll be Dr. Azai's right-hand person. Right now, we have 3 operations EMS captains that oversee the operational aspects of their job, to include QAing reports, looking at all the clinical aspects as well. It's a haphazard way of doing things. As we continue our operations today, and the court's intent is to grow our organization, our span of control is going to be absurd. And so again, we have 6 people being overseen by 1 person now. This training captain position will oversee all 18 currently field personnel that are all the clinical aspects and guide their training. So right now, Dr. Azai does weekly trainings with the crews in person when he comes down. This training captain will be overseeing that process as well as issuing continuing education credit, managing our continuing education license, which we don't currently have with the Department of State Health Services. They will oversee that, as well as outreach. We have, I'm not making this up, I'm happy to provide it, weekly requests for CPR, stop the bleed, first aid classes. Again, myself as the chief of the department, trying to manage budget, construction projects, and everything else, is trying to accommodate those requests. We have our training captain, our other people that can assist with that, but the pros position will oversee the day-to-day of all outreach education and clinical oversight of the agency.
So he's gonna have a very, very large job.
He or she will be very
He or
busy.
she, I'm sorry, he or she.
Absolutely. And as we go down the world of adding more clinical components to our organization, body-worn cameras, which is probably gonna be a fiscal year 27 objective, based upon a request of Dr. Zai, point-of-care ultrasound, somebody to manage the laboratory program that y'all very well are aware of based upon what we just recently attained with COLA. There's many things that right now it's a bandwidth problem. We're arguably doing a really good job at it, but it's the next step in our organization. Again, foreseeing what the court's intent is to expand us, we have to have that.
Okay.
Have to. But great questions, I'm glad. And again, apologies, I did not request a proposed copy of the budget during the budget workshop. I alluded to the training captain position, assuming it was before you, so I failed to realize it was omitted. We caught it, and that's why we're having a conversation today, but thank you very much for asking the questions.
Any other questions from the court? Item number 24 is an action item.
I'll make the motion to approve item number 24 as presented.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Commissioner Lissy is opposed. Motion carries 4-1. Item number 25 is our consent agenda. Our consent agenda includes reports from our justice of the peaces, all of them, precinct 1, 2, 3, and 4. Our elections department has theirs in there, maintenance, sheriff's department, VSO, and our DMV. We also have budget amendment BA 2025-13 is in there. Tom, off the top of your head, do you remember which one that?
That one's for road and bridge. That was a $65,000 for emergency repair on the.
On the
Yes, we're
motor
coming
grader.
from fuel.
Okay.
Make a motion to put the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Motion carried. Anybody opposed? No. Okay, item number 26. Any items we need to talk about from the consent agenda? Hearing none, we will move to our updates from our commissioners, starting in precinct 1.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Last month, we had a food council meeting with several community members and the San Antonio Food Bank. The county had previously decided to host the food bank distributions quarterly. We are working together to improve our processes. We decided to go back to sponsoring each month's distribution. Starting in September, we will organize volunteers and take the lead on the monthly food bank distributions at the Karnes County Youth Showgrounds. If your company or organization would like to serve with us at the distributions, please reach out to the judge's office or myself for scheduling. This month, we served 152 Karnes County families. Our next distribution will be on Tuesday, September 2nd, around 9 a.m. I attended Conoco's public information meeting last week in Falls City. Representatives discussed their plans for the Conquista site and answered questions from the public. I think the best way to summarize the project is that Conoco wants to close the Conquista site that has been inactive all these years. To do so, they must have a plan approved by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. TCEQ has made the removal and relocation of mill tellings from the Slick Wilcox facility a stipulation in approving Conoco's plans to close Conquista. So once Conquista is closed, the property will be transferred to the Department of Energy for long-term care. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any other questions. I had a resident reach out about the condition of County Road 144. After driving out to see the ruts and washouts that they were concerned about, I spoke with Road and Bridge and requested they create a maintenance ticket. I've been working towards setting up a surplus auction with Alamo Auctioneers. If your department has anything to add to the sale, you have one more week to get it on the agenda to declare surplus. In July, the Air Force suspended the use of their Sig Sauer M18 sidearms after an airman was killed by a supposed accidental discharge of his handgun. This brought national attention to a long-time concern that Sig Sauer had with some of their handguns that were manufactured prior to August 2017. Since the Sheriff's Office recently started carrying the SIG P320, which is a variant of the M18, I felt it would be wise to make sure their duty weapons were safe. I got the serial numbers from Chief Guitarra and verified with Sig Sauer that all of our handguns have already been equipped with safety upgrades. While safety recalls were on my mind, I decided to check for safety recalls on all county-owned vehicles. I identified 25 vehicles with open recalls and notified the department heads of the repairs needed. Judge Hedke, EMS Chief Ibram, and I met with representatives from Monica de la Cruz's office to discuss community project funding grants. My hope was to find federal funding that could be used for our EMS facilities, but the appropriations timeline is about 1.5 to 2 years long. We feel like we came out of that meeting with great information and tools to use for planning future projects. I met with Kennedy's water line project engineer. The project is underway and you'll soon see crews laying a new water line down the former railroad right-of-way from Wilson County all the way to Wood Street in Kennedy. The project is scheduled for completion by the end of 2026. VTX1 has started installing fiber optic lines in our area. They have contracted with Aspen to install their buried cables in Karnes County. I attended the Texas Watershed Steward training that was hosted locally by our Extension Office. EMS Chief Ibram, myself, and Judge Hedke met with Weaver and Jacobs last week to review the bids and discuss the alternatives on the EMS training and admin building. On the 5th, I oversaw the auction sale of 12 properties that Karnes County had acquired by quitclaim deeds. We had about 30 people attend the auction and all the properties sold. I had a resident contact me about a tree that had fallen in the road on County Road 150. I went out there and found that it was partially blocking the road and it was too much for me to put in the back of my truck. So I reached out to Road and Bridge and they took care of it right away. I spent a lot of time reviewing the proposed budget from our budget workshop. I think I'm still recovering from last week. And for all county employees, we are currently in our 2025-2026 open enrollment, and everyone needs to confirm their elections. Our HR department needs everyone's paperwork completed by the end of tomorrow. Please make this a priority. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Lissy, Precinct 2.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank all of our county employees for all the hard work they do. And County Road 211 and 228 are being shredded. County Road 207 is scheduled for striping. It's been paved. It's really looking nice. County Road 253 is work in progress. On County Road 208, we're hauling material and doing dirt road maintenance on it. And County Road 202, we're doing brush cutting along the fence lines. And Hobson County Road 220 is complete, except for one block, and which is in the planning stage right there. We'll get that done shortly. Hobson County Road 377 is preparing to be paved. And we still have issues with trash being dumped. I'm sure it's all over everybody's precinct. And calls about speeding on county roads, and that would be forever, I guess. It's just a problem. And, I had a meeting with the city of Kennedy, since they own the right-of-way, the railroad right-of-way, and we'll be getting a right-of-way easement from them to extend our road from the service center to 181 in Falls City. And tomorrow I'm going to attend a city council meeting to discuss Andrews Street. And let's see. That's about it.
Commissioner Rosales.
Morning. County Road 360 and 400 are still under construction. We are shredding every day. Everything's looking good. We're doing what we need to do. Also spent most of my time reviewing the proposed budget last week. Talked with the department heads. That's probably all I got.
Thank you. Commissioner Geisler.
County Road 326 is being striped. County Road 113, drainage improvements have been completed. County Road 111, drainage improvement is underway. County Road 331, it's the final design of low water flow completed this week, and construction to start soon. Got some constituent calls on County Roads 339 and 319. I relayed those to Road and Bridge after checking out everything. Cleanup has started on the proposed precinct site, service center site, 106 East Front Street. There was a contractor was burning some stuff last night. He had contacted the city of Runge and visited with them. He was burning some stuff. There's a lot of debris out there. They grabbed some trees. He's only supposed to be burning brush, and he, I guess someone scooped up a little piece of plastic, but it did go in the hole. There was some smoke. I was alerted, called the contractor, told him, "What are you doing?" He immediately called his person, told him to stop. I contacted the city mayor, the city of Runge mayor, discussed with him, but it has since been put out, and they've instructed by both of us not to burn anything, and he said he would go out there and vet all the stuff to make sure that it's just wood that they're burning.
I got those phone calls and pictures too, and so I sent Justin out there as a precaution, emergency management, because there were some complaints about toxins in the air. So Justin went and checked it out, talked to fire department, mayor, and everybody down there, and reported back. So yeah, I think we're good. Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, sir. Okay, item number 28 is our reports from our tax assessor, collector, our auditor, and treasurer. Tammy?
Good morning, Judge and Court. How are y'all doing today?
Well.
For the month of July, the current collections for the county M&O, the current month to date was $46,244.08. The current year to date was $21,155,221.52 with 98.84% collected. Last year, we had 99.03% collected, and this morning when I left the office, it was 98.93%. So we're still a little lower than what we were last year at this time, but not much. On the current INS, the delinquent month to date was $25.21. The delinquent year to date is $1,692.84 with 13.61% collected. On the countywide road and bridge, the current month to date was $7,840.21. The current year to date was $3,607,719.30 with 98.84% collected. The delinquent month to date was $1,354.73. The delinquent year to date was $70,560.62 with 21.22% collected.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Tom?
All right, Court, y'all should have a summary sheet that I normally give y'all. So on the ad valorem taxes, remember this is real monies that we put in the bank because Tammy's collections made the last couple of days, get to our bank the next day or so forth. So on the ad valorem, we're already at 101.49%. Our county sales tax, we're at 74.46%. And this is for 10 months. Interest, we're already at 104.94%. EMS receipts, 108.02%, and then tax office fees, 96.7%. So our overall revenues, we only got 19% remaining for the next month and a half. Our expenses we've only spent 46.5%. If you can see, there's still 53% remaining. So expenditures a total of $14,712,796.92 on our budget of $31,622,183.04. On the road and bridge, they're at 101.45% on their taxes. Interest is 67.88%. Oil and gas lease is 225%. Then all other revenues right at 10%. So they received so far about 47%, 48%. Their expenses, they still got 40% to spend. So their expenses are $17,047,33.33. Non-court bills for last month of $20,296,918.61, which the biggest portion is GO of $18,849,035.31. 2 payrolls, $654,831.51, payroll, taxes, insurance, retirement, $544,430.44, utilities, $69,203.05, and all other expenses, restitution, and so forth, $179,418.30. Cash position in our investments at the end of the month were Texas class, we had $30,340,410.32, tax pool $36,057,129.91, and the multi-bank version is $32,037,084.98, which has $98,434,625.21. I did want to comment, they were talking about the resource officers. Superintendent Pavelek told me that Fall City is very happy with the program. It's worked out phenomenal for them.
Yeah. And also, talking about this, you know, the budget that's presented and the commissioners have voted on, well, 4 of the commissioners voted on, 3 of the commissioners, 1, 2, 3 commissioners voted up to approve, is a rough, almost $75 million. It's going to be right at $75 million. I'll be anxious to see, like last year's was 60 something, I don't remember off the top of my head, Tom, but I'll be anxious to see, Tom, this is a question for you. I want to see, come October 1, I want to see how much money, how much of that budget was not spent that reverts back to general. So let's just note that, okay? Okay.
The majority of that, Judge, I'm sorry, but the majority of that is because of the capital program.
Right.
Right. We'll be hit with that every year.
Correct.
Well, let's go back to let's get it done. Balance of June 2025, $101,319,085.25. Receipts for the month of July 2025, $45,160,338.84. Disbursements for the same time period, $46,647,646.35, for an ending balance for July 2025, $99,831,777.74.
Below the threshold, Vida.
I know, I try.
Item number 20, discuss / action on the treasurer's report.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? None. Item number 30.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Judge, sorry. We've already sent Tom and you the updates on the salaries for those little $8.50.
Perfect.
We've already got.
Thank you. There you go, Michelle. Scratch offs tonight.
Yeah, I said sure.
Okay, item number 30 is discuss / acknowledgement of personnel changes. This is all departments, and run through these. Our new hires, the majority of them are in our sheriff's department with a new jailer, patrol deputy, another jailer. We do have Justin's on here as our emergency management coordinator. And then our tax office, we got a part-time clerk in Tammy's office. No promotions, transfers, or reassignments. We did have some resignations in Road and Bridge. Juvenile had a couple. No retirements. We are currently hiring facility security officers. In our probation department, we still have an attendance specialist, an HHSC administrator that's a part-time position, and a department prevention specialist. Road and Bridge is looking for equipment operator 1, equipment operator 2, maintenance tech 1. Sheriff's Department needs a jailer, a dispatcher, mental health officer, and patrol deputies. That's my report. Okay, item number 31 is to pay the bills.
All right, Court, the total bills for today is $1,859,995.74. The general fund is $101,022.19. Road and Bridge, their 2 funds are $1,737,780.77. Then out of the American Rescue Plan, we're paying $13,920. So on the general fund, $29,767 is the AC unit that we're replacing at the Sheriff's Department that's being charged to contingency. Y'all have previously reported. I do have a question. I guess it's a Sheriff's Department. On the American Rescue Plan, we're replacing old Kenwood radios. It says 34 Is that correct, for the 13,920, Sheriff? Tracy, that was that PO that,
Yeah, the Kenwoods I still have the old Kenwood in my office, but we
they
are.
approved it, I just
Yeah.
want clarification, okay. All right. That's it, nothing else.
Commissioners, questions on the bills, discussion?
There's one thing I'd like to say. Our road bridge engineer did write the grant for the CTF money that we got $14 million.
Well, that, he's had residual that's built up over the years, but it's gonna be spent.
But he
this
did
year.
write the grant that we got the money.
That was prior to my coming, I don't know.
Isn't that right? Yes, it is.
I'll make the motion to pay the bills as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 32. Acknowledged Commissioners Court will meet on August 26, 2025 at 9 a.m. in the Karnes County Multi-Purpose Room down the sidewalk at 210 West Calvert, Suite 150, Karnes City, Texas, 78118. Tom?
You want to mention, Judge, in 4 weeks, what's happening from tonight? Is a public hearing.
4 weeks
from tonight.
4 weeks from tonight.
Yes, sir.
Public hearing. Public, come. See what what your money is doing for you, how we're spending it, how we're taking care of it. I'm sorry? September 9th. Okay, thank you. Item number 33, need a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay,